Say sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Dear Dharma practitioners, there was a middle-aged couple used to live in an apartment building. And every day, this woman look at the other side of the apartment and see every day saw that one woman and doing her laundry and put the cloth around around the balcony. And this woman every day look at that and always blame, complain. Look at that woman. She's so lazy. Every day she do her laundries and wash her cloth, but still it's all dirty. And this used to happen like a few years now. This is the sign every day she look and then the same complaint. So husband was so silent. And so this keep happening. And it really looked dirty, that all the clothes, even though she wash it every day. Then one day suddenly, when this woman look at the that other side of the apartment, and suddenly she saw that day the other woman and washed her clothes very clean, very bright, oh, everything vivid. And then this day, the woman got shocked and told to her husband while they having coffee, oh, look at that. After few years, what happened to her? Today she washed her all the clothes very clean, very nice, look so beautiful. Then the husband told, honey, I cleaned our window today. So when it come to our life, always you have to remember. And sometimes what we see, what we experience, and through our perception, and mostly we understand not exactly the way as it is. It mostly we understand whatever the ideas we hold it to ourselves. So when you look something, when you hear something, when you smell, taste something, and when you associate people, and when you think about something, be mindful regarding the condition of your mind. And without stable, without balance, without clarity, condition, without clear environment inside your mind, don't go to make any kind of judgment or decisions. Making judgments, nothing wrong. Of course, as human beings, we judge each other. It is okay. As example, your parents, your elders, your teachers, if your friends, someone is wiser than you, experienced than you, and it is okay, their judgment. Why? Because their judgment will help for us. But when you going to judge others, when you going to make a statement, when you going to make a complaint, when you going to have an argument, always remember, you have to first look yourself and see what are the qualifications that you already develop within yourself rather than the outside conditions. That is very necessary. It become a good profitable skill for you to develop yourself. And then mostly rather than reacting through our bodily, verbally, mentally actions, most of things we can stop inside us. Why? Because we know that the very intention that whatever inside us not clear for us. So then what's the point? Just making comments, just giving ideas, just saying something regarding somebody or something. We are not capable for that. So then it's mostly deeply recognizing yourself is the most important part. So when it comes to the world, look at the world. Without the sun, this world can be so dark. And even without the moon, the night can be so difficult and horrible. And without the beach, the ocean can be kind of like useless. And without the crown, the king become useless. And at the same time, without the tusk, the elephant cannot be beautiful. The same like without attention, without awareness, without the clarity inside your own mind, remember, you are useless. That useless mean not for the world. Maybe you will help for others. Maybe you do so hard work and maybe you earn money and maybe you maintain your family. Maybe you do your social service. Maybe you go out and you do your other activities with your friends and everybody will appreciate you. But remember, when you don't develop the sati or the clarity or the sati sampajanya or clear comprehension, or deeper recognition, which we call in vipassana, insight. If you don't develop the insight mean not inside. Insight mean deeply through your awareness how you recognize things. If you don't develop that, remember, you become useless for you. Don't be like that way. So through practicing meditation, we're trying to help you to give necessary information to develop it within yourself, because that the awareness you cannot get out of somebody. You cannot find it through initiation from a higher teacher. You cannot get it through prayers. You cannot get it through the puja or the chanting, or you cannot get it through hopes or asking and requesting, and you cannot get it through just becoming a follower. How you can get it? Can get it by practicing yourself. So when it comes to that practice, always remember it is just not only sitting and closing your eyes and you become kind of like a statue in a museum. No, deeply in day-to-day life, you have to be aware regarding all your actions. And in conventional life, it will bring some kind of profitable value to yourself and to be a better person. And at the same time, it will help you to go beyond this conventional life and to reach to a kind of like a eternal experience or the eternal understanding or eternal development or the spiritual development. So out of action, you have to gain this both. Conventionally, you have to be successful. That conventional success should not be only limited to conventional life. That is the difference in the between the in the Buddha's teaching. Because whatever the Buddha's teaching, it is just not only for conventional development. There you can find many other details regarding that how to become a better person in conventional life. As example, becoming a millionaire. The kind of like, you can follow that the many other successful people in the society. Kind of like a Paul J. Getty, one of the millionaire in the first era in the during that United States. And if you read his autobiography, in the beginning, what he had the idea about just the money. Just he was every day, and his driver was telling one time, and he was always, while he in the car in the back seat, and sometimes when he walk himself, he used to do what? money, 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 like that. And then he became successful. And now when you drive through on this 405 freeway, that you see that Getty Center, Paul J. Getty. And he invests so much money and he gets so much money through this oil. And but when you if you have a time, read his autobiography. You don't need to read all, read just the last chapter, what he telling about his own life. He was one of the most unhappy person in the world. And he had never he had no opportunity to have a kind of like a good comfortable family life as a family. He was so sad when he died. What the point? Look, he became a millionaire. He had everything in his life. But himself, he was so sad. He lost himself. So if you become a millionaire following that kind of ideas, then what will happen to you? Look at all the most of the famous people, successful people in the society, when we come to the name of the success. But deeply, if you disconnect out of that your own success or your conventional life, what the point? But when it comes to the Buddha's teaching, why you are so safe? Because according to the teachings, according to the Dharma, you can gain the success and you can become a millionaire without disconnecting yourself. You become more comfortable and you develop and you getting a strong spiritual foundation. Just not the conventional development. You have to be conventionally successful through your education, through your career, through your work and anything. But remember, your foundation should be spiritual. So then for that, in day-to-day life, how you act. Because when it comes to life, look at life is so miserable. That we call dukkha satya, samudaya satya, nirodha satya, and marga satya. So regarding the dukkha satya, it doesn't matter you understand it or not. What is suffering? It's going to be there, 100%. It doesn't mean, oh, I don't care about it, or I don't want to experience it, then it's not going to be with you. No, it doesn't matter. That's why it is a truth, because it doesn't matter you understand it or not. The suffering is there. But that doesn't mean that every day you have to be with it. It is your choice. So that's why when you come to understand how it happened, because whatever you see through your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, mind, whatever you experience through your in day-to-day life, and that doesn't mean it's anything is bad. But that experience will happen even you attain to enlightenment. Once you attain to enlightenment, there when you see this is a pen, this is not going to be something else. This is still going to be the pen. But in day-to-day life, then what is the difference? Because that we always deeply attach to that, whatever the experience. It doesn't matter good or bad, sad or worry, happy or unhappy, pain or pleasure, we should deeply attach to this all. And you think, oh, I am attached only to the happiness. No, you attach to unhappiness also. Why you cannot see that? Because you always try to cover up it through happiness. When you look for happiness, that means you already have the unhappiness with you. Otherwise, you don't struggle for that. So Then in day-to-day life, remember that whatever the situations happen, we cannot escape from it. In the very first thing that you have to remember, you have to accept it. But that when you accept something, there are two ways. The one is the condition of your mind. Another thing is, and maybe you don't know the other side, the what is there. And maybe it is because when something happened to anybody, it always going to be good for that person also. There is a way. It can that maybe we cannot see it. Maybe it is a very horrible, difficult, sad experience for you. But sometimes how we knows that about the other person? Like when you have opportunity to go to a better place, you will go. And maybe your mother, father, brother, sister, or anybody, family members, friends, your neighbors will say, don't do that. But maybe you will go. Like we leave our countries and came here, and when we come here, all our loved ones was so sad. So like that. But once you caught up with the sad or the worry, and you cannot see the other side. So then always remember, develop a mental quality. When something happens, rather than looking it through the way you want, and start to look, and what is the good for that person? And maybe something good for that person. Maybe for you, it's a very horrible situation. So that's why you have to have always the compassion to balance that situation. Because little bit worry is enough for you to destroy everything inside you. It can multiply. It's like same like the virus. It has a power to grow inside. So then you have to remember, little bit worry come through in a different way. Maybe you hear something and then you become worried. And then you see something. It is nothing to do with what you heard. But you know what will happen? Whatever you see, through that way also you start to multiply that unhappiness inside you. Or maybe whatever you smell, it's nothing to do with that worry, but it has power to multiply with what you smell. Maybe whatever you eat, it is very healthy food, nothing wrong with it. But you heard something unhappy and you became so unhappy, and you didn't clean it, you didn't recognize it, it is there, you just allow it to be there, and then with that, whatever you eat, and then slowly it's going to multiply. And the people the same. You watch something and you became a little bit worried about it, maybe kind of like a Chinese movie, because the end of the Chinese movie is always, it's sad, no happy ending. And after watching a Chinese movie, if you have any conversation with somebody, remember, be very careful. You're going to mess up that whole conversation, or, especially don't go to family conversation. And because, why? Because already you experience something sad. And then with that, you cannot, get back to very quickly to other side. So then how we know? That's why the most important part is see yourself, the very behavior of your own mind. Then you can recognize when something happened to you, when something hit, as soon as possible, rather than going towards something, you just clean it yourself without allowing it to multiply. Otherwise, there are situations happen. But always you have to remember, get the lesson, and yourself, you have to be mindful. And why it didn't happen to you? There is a reason within yourself. So then what you have to do? You cannot depend on whatever that happened to other people. You get the lesson, and then you have to be a better person than them. And there are some responsibility in you than them. So then you have to take it to your hand, and you have to move forward each and every day. If somebody neglect it, if somebody couldn't do it, then you cannot claim, you cannot blame regarding your husband, wife, children, friends, and family members. Oh, you didn't do it, you didn't do it. Because if you see it, then you do it. So because when it come to a family, when it come to friends, when it come to sangha, you are not separate. You are included in it. So if somebody miss and something, and how you know what happened to that person, maybe you don't know that. So then you have to do it. If that person every day keep repeating, then you have to have a very friendly conversation, and maybe you can explain. But you have to be very careful, because sometimes people cannot understand. They have no that capacity. That's why sometimes we repeat things again and again. Why? Because sometimes people understand it in a different way. And sometimes when you say turn to right, some people turn to left. That's the very nature. You don't need to get mad about it. No, you don't need to get disappointed, upset about it. You have to know, because that person is a completely different person. But the most important thing, you should not get disturbed out of it. That is the important part. When it comes to Buddha's teaching, there is a word called Rakkati. The Rakkati is the Pali word that when it comes to that Rakkati, in English, there are two meanings. One is prevent. Another one is protection. This both included to Rakkati. So when it comes to that, it is your responsibility to protect you. That's why Rakkati. From what? So the preventing from getting disturbed from anything. It is your responsibility. It's always things can disturb you. So before it reach to you, it is your responsibility to prevent from it. That doesn't mean you go away from things. That doesn't teach in Buddha's teaching. You don't look, oh, it's going to make me disturb. You don't look. No. We always practice. You learn to go through. You go through. Like drive through. You learn to go through. That's what called that when it comes to the Buddha, that there is a name called that because in his whole sansaric journey, he never escaped from things. That itself bring the experience to him to go through the life. That is called Tathagata. So then when it comes to your life, always remember, don't escape from that. It is not a kind of like a ascetic life. You give up everything and you don't look because you get disturbed. No, you understand. You look into it without getting disturbed, without having how you can disturb that. So that's one is the prevent and protection. So the how you can develop the prevent and protection. What is the protection mean? You become very careful not to attach in the beginning, not to detach. No, because we always try to detach, leaving some kind of attachment inside us. No, whatever the attachment has the same power. It doesn't matter. This is a pen, this is wood. So if I like this or this, when it comes to physical world, it is totally different two things. But when it comes to inside, psychologically, if I attach to this or if I attach to this, I going to get the same result. That is what you have to understand. And maybe you think, oh, I don't attach to that, but I attach to this. Forget about it. The attachment has the same nature. So then in the conventionally, to cover up the outside behavior, and sometimes we say, I don't do this, but I just do this. Maybe you don't attach to meat, but you so attached to potato or the vegetable, the same result you're going to get. You cannot escape from that. But if you eat anything without any attachment, just if you accept anything as food, then without categorizing, comparing, then it's going to be food for you. That is what the Buddhas did. And maybe you don't, you'd say, I don't drink alcohol, I'm hate that. And I drink only water. If I don't drink water, I go so crazy. This you are, still that the craziness you develop through the water. So then don't depend on the outside conditions. Look into you. So how you can prevent and protect. So the protection always come when you recognize that whatever happening inside you, that all change mentally, psychologically, whatever you experience, good or bad, sad, worry, happy, unhappy, joy, pleasure, anything. Just look at your own experience. What happened to you 10 days ago? So look at the condition of your mind today. And maybe, so you recognize that. And then whatever come to you in that very moment, don't hold it to it. Because your mind it is not something solid inside you. Your mind the result of everything, environment, because the perception, that the consciousness, your eye, ear, nose, tongue, body consciousness, and your memory, and your feelings, emotions, this everything come together. That is where your recognition comes. It is the result of this everything. So then don't attach to that. Just remember this, always things change, and that learn to experience that change happening inside you. It is happening in you. Only thing is, once you caught up in memory, you don't see that. So through the meditation, we drop the memory and we come to the present moment of the experience. And then you can recognize it, that change. So once you recognize that change, and that itself bringing ability not to attach to any kind of mental experience. It is nothing to do with outside. Mentally, whatever you experience, you're not going to attach to that mental experience. That is the greater protection that you can develop. Moment by moment, when you see that, you protect yourself. And then naturally, you start to recognize that whatever happening in the moment, it is just an experience. And then the preventing means that always you are whatever happened today, whatever happened in the past, whatever going to happen in the future, this all have the same nature. And then you are completely protect. That protection, not only for your conventional, not only for your spiritual, that protection is beyond your death also. So then remember, it can do by yourself through your own pure understanding, through your own pure recognition. So then don't afraid for life. Don't paralyze when situations happens. That is not the Buddha's teaching. Don't try to escape from situations, because whatever the hard, sad, worried, dark, ugly things happens, that is where your development is going to happen. That is where your liberation going to happen. That is where your salvation going to happen. Get that opportunity. Learn to jump into it. Don't caught up in mental ideas, because if you get into ideas that you cannot do this, even you believe the teacher, even you start to believe the monk, even if you start to believe the Tripitaka or the any holy book, or even you start to believe something, you cannot get that. So the very basic teaching that you have to develop in your mind, don't caught up in believing. And sometimes, the believing that the people give up themselves, give up their own life for believing. People give up everything for believing, but that doesn't mean they're going to be free. So the believing always going to bound you to something. When it comes to the Buddha's teaching, it's nothing to do with believing. Believing doesn't work. It's zero. What it going to work for you? Recognizing. How? Through your own mind, not by listening, not by following, not by believing or something like that way. By observing with very clear mind, even without bounding to your own past experience. In the moment of perception, that whatever come to you, or whatever the moment of experience happening in you, if you able to recognize that you will see everything moment by moment change. So when you come to that understanding anymore, you're not going to bound this conventional life. That is where you gain total liberation, transformation, which we call ultimate bliss of Nibbana. So with that, I bless upon everyone with this good practice. May all of you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you. May no difficulties come to you. May no problems come to you. May you also have the patience, courage, understanding, and determination to meet and overcome inevitable difficulties in your life. During this time period, may everyone stay healthy and safe. And finally, may all of you attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sabbityo vajjantu sabbarogo vinasatu mate bhavatantarayo sukhi dika yuko bhava. Ittavata cha ammihi sampadang punya sampadang sabbe deva numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe bhuta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Sabbe satta numodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Idamme punya kammang asavakkaya vahan hotu sabba dukkha pamuncatu. Bless you.